The wind howled across the alien wasteland, carrying the sound of broken towers and ruined homes. The sky was dark, filled with angry red clouds, as if the planet itself was crying. In the distance, the last human outpost stood tall, its metal walls glowing faintly under the storm. Inside, soldiers sat in silence, waiting for trouble, waiting for the next enemy raid. Then the heavy gates shook, a loud banging echoed. The guards rushed forward, weapons ready. What they saw froze them in place. It was not an army, not an alien soldier, but a single girl. Her skin shimmered faintly under the rain, her eyes glowing weakly like fading stars. She was trembling, her steps unsteady. Her clothes were torn, her face was streaked with tears. She collapsed on her knees before the human guards. "Please," she whispered, her voice cracked and desperate. "Help me! Please save me." The guards exchanged looks. Confusion in their eyes. They had seen alien raiders, alien warriors, alien thieves, but never this, never a girl begging like a dying child. One soldier raised his weapon, ready to push her away, but she lifted her head, and with a voice that cut through the storm, she cried, "My species, we will all die if I do not live, if you turn me away. My people are gone." The outpost commander stepped forward, his armor glinted in the dim light. He was older, strict, not someone who believed easily. His tone was sharp. "What trick is this? Who sent you?" The girl shook her head quickly, her hands pressed against her chest, her whole body trembling. "No trick, no lie, we are dying. My kind cannot survive without union, without life joined, and I have no one left." Her words silenced the hall. Soldiers whispered among themselves, some laughed nervously, others cursed under their breath. Was this real? Was this some twisted alien trap? At the back of the group, one man watched her quietly. He was not a commander, not a high-ranking officer, just a human soldier who had seen too many wars. His name was Daniel. His eyes softened as he studied the girl. She was young, terrified, and her body looked so fragile that even the wind might break her. The commander barked, "Take her away, she is lying." No alien comes here begging for help unless it is a plan to stab us in the back. Two soldiers moved forward to grab her, but the girl suddenly screamed, "No, please, I am not lying. You do not understand. If I die, the rest of us die. Our cycle is ending. My people are already falling. You have to believe me." Her voice cracked into sobs. Her forehead touched the ground and her hands shook as she begged, "Human, please save me. I do not want to die." The hall went silent again. Only the storm outside roared. Daniel stepped forward slowly. His boots echoed against the floor. Everyone stared as he crouched in front of the alien girl. His voice was low, calm, but firm. "Look at me." Her tear-streaked face lifted. Her glowing eyes locked on his. He asked, "What's your name?" Her lips trembled before she answered. "Lyra." Daniel studied her. There was no weapon hidden in her clothes. No soldier waiting behind the gate. Just a broken, terrified alien girl. The kind of fear in her eyes could not be faked. It was raw, desperate, real. The commander scowled. "Daniel, step back. This is not your concern." But Daniel didn't move. His gaze stayed on the girl. If what she says is true, if her species really is dying, what if we turn her away and it ends them forever? The commander slammed his fist against the wall. And what if she's lying? What if she's the key to a trap that kills us all? The storm outside grew louder, lightning flashing across the sky. Lyra's voice shook again. "No trap, I swear by the stars of my ancestors. If you turn me away, you will be signing the death of thousands, please. One human can save me, just one." Her last words struck deep. The soldiers shifted uneasily. Some lowered their weapons. Daniel's jaw tightened. His heart pounded. He reached out, gently lifting her by the arm. She was cold, weak, her body shaking as if life itself was slipping away. Daniel looked back at the commander and the guards. "She is not our enemy. She is a living being begging for her life. I will not let her die on our doorstep." The commander's eyes narrowed. "Then you take responsibility, Daniel, if she betrays us. Her blood and yours are on your own head." Daniel nodded without hesitation. His grip on the girl tightened. "I accept that," the soldiers murmured in shock. The commander gave a sharp nod, stepping aside. The gates creaked shut behind them. Sealing the storm outside, Daniel guided Lyra inside, her weak steps echoing in the hall. For the first time since she arrived, her sobs quieted. Her glowing eyes softened as she whispered, "Thank you, human." Daniel did not answer. His mind was racing, questions burned inside him. Was she truly the last hope of her kind, or had he just welcomed danger into their only safe haven? Either way, one thing was certain. The desperate plea of an alien girl had just changed his fate forever. The storm outside raged through the night, but inside the human outpost, silence pressed heavy on everyone's chest. Soldiers whispered in corners, their eyes filled with doubt and unease. The alien girl, Lyra, sat trembling on a bench, wrapped in a thin blanket. Her glowing eyes darted nervously around. She looked like she had not slept for days. Commander Holt stood tall at the center of the room, his sharp voice cutting through the tension. "We cannot keep her here. She is dangerous. She could be lying. We should hand her over to the Alien Council and let them deal with her." Several soldiers nodded, muttering in agreement. Their world had been filled with battles, and trust was a rare thing. They had lost friends, brothers, and sisters to alien treachery. Why should they believe this one? But Daniel remained still, standing by the wall, his eyes locked on Lyra. He could see how thin her arms were, how her breathing shook with every inhale. If she was acting, then she was the greatest liar in the galaxy. But deep inside, Daniel felt she wasn't lying. He had seen fear before, real fear, and this was it. Lyra's voice trembled as she finally spoke. "Please, you do not understand, my people. We are collapsing. Our bodies fail when the cycle ends. Already many villages are empty. Many of us have fallen. I am one of the last." Her words made the soldiers shift uncomfortably. Some refused to look at her. Holt raised his hand to silence her, his glare fixed on Daniel. "You seem so eager to defend her, soldier. Tell us why. Why risk all our lives for one alien girl?" Daniel pushed himself from the wall, walking slowly toward the commander. His voice was calm but strong. "Because I've seen what hopelessness looks like, and she is not faking it. If we hand her over, she dies. And if she's telling the truth, her whole species dies with her." The room stirred with uneasy whispers. Holt's face hardened. "And if she's lying? If she's a key sent by their leaders to open our gates to weaken us from inside?" Daniel didn't flinch. "Then I will take full responsibility. Put her under my watch if she betrays us. I'll face the consequences." The commander's eyes narrowed. His jaw tightened. "You are a fool, Daniel. Compassion will get you killed." Daniel's voice grew firm. "Maybe, but sometimes compassion saves more lives than weapons ever will." The words cut through the room like a blade. Some soldiers lowered their eyes, embarrassed by the truth in them. Others clenched their fists, torn between fear and doubt. Lyra looked at Daniel with wide, tear-filled eyes. Her voice was barely a whisper. You would risk yourself for me." Daniel didn't answer her directly. Instead, he turned to Holt. "What's the harm in waiting a little? We can watch her, test her story. If she's lying, we'll know soon enough. If she's telling the truth, then maybe we just saved an entire people." The commander paced, the storm outside flashing light across his face. Finally he stopped, his voice sharp. "Very well. She stays, but under strict guard. Daniel, she is your burden now. One wrong step, and both of you are finished." Daniel nodded without hesitation. "Understood." The soldiers parted as Daniel walked over to Lyra. He extended his hand. She stared at it, hesitant, then slowly placed her cold, shaking fingers in his palm. He pulled her gently to her feet. Her eyes glowed faintly as she whispered, "You are different from the others, you." "You listened?" Daniel's jaw tightened. He didn't want to be her savior, but something inside him refused to let her die forgotten in the rain. Hours later, in the dim light of the outpost barracks, Daniel sat across from her. He offered her water and a small piece of bread. She ate slowly, as if every bite was a fight to stay alive. "Tell me," Daniel said quietly, "why now? Why come to humans?" Lyra lowered her eyes, shame heavy in her voice. "Because my own people will not listen. They are too proud. They call me weak. They refuse to admit what is happening, so I ran. I had no choice." Her words stung Daniel. He knew pride could destroy. He had seen leaders let soldiers die rather than admit defeat. And now this girl carried the weight of a dying people on her shoulders. "You should rest," he said softly. But even as she lay down, she whispered, "Thank you, human. Thank you for choosing me when no one else would." Daniel sat in silence, staring at the storm-lit window. He knew tomorrow would bring more questions, more suspicion and maybe danger, but deep down, he also knew he had crossed a line he could never go back from. The choice had been made. A single act of compassion, a single promise to a desperate girl, and whether it led to salvation or disaster, the fate of her species, and perhaps his own, was now tied to him. Outside the storm raged on, but inside the outpost, the real storm had only just begun. The next morning, the storm had passed, leaving the outpost in a strange, heavy silence. The sky was pale gray, the ground still wet. Soldiers moved around the base, whispering whenever they glanced toward Daniel's quarters. Everyone knew the alien girl was inside, and rumors spread faster than the wind. Daniel sat across from Lyra in the dim barracks room. He had not slept much, his mind was restless. His orders were clear: watch her closely, trust nothing. But every time he looked at her weak, trembling hands, he felt doubt slipping in. Lyra's eyes glowed faintly in the morning light. She clutched the blanket around her shoulders, breathing slowly as if every moment was heavy. "You do not believe me," she whispered, her voice soft. "I can see it in your eyes." Daniel didn't answer right away. He leaned forward, resting his arms on his knees. "I believe you think you're telling the truth," he said carefully. "But the story you gave us, it's hard to accept. I need to know more. If I'm risking my life for you, I need the whole truth." Her gaze lowered, and for a moment she was silent. Then slowly, she reached into the folds of her torn clothing, pulling out a small cracked pendant. It shimmered faintly with alien symbols, glowing as though it remembered an ancient fire. "This is the mark of my line," she whispered, placing it carefully in Daniel's hand. "Passed down through generations. It carries the memory of my people." Daniel studied the pendant. Its surface was etched with spirals and lines, glowing faint blue. He had never seen alien tech like this. He rubbed his thumb across the surface, and for a brief second he felt warmth, as if the metal was alive. "What does it mean?" he asked. Lyra's voice shook, but her words were steady. "My people are bound by cycles every few lifetimes. Our bodies weaken, collapse from within. Only through union, through life shared with another, can the next generation survive. Without it, we die. Our bloodline vanishes." Daniel frowned. "That sounds like extinction. You're saying your whole species depends on finding someone?" Her eyes filled with tears, but she nodded. "Yes. And too many have already fallen. Villages stand empty. Cities are silent. The cycle is breaking faster than ever before. And I am one of the last fertile ones. If I die, another piece of my people dies forever." The weight of her words pressed against Daniel's chest. He wanted to call it superstition, some alien myth. But the pendant in his hand pulsed faintly, almost as if agreeing with her. He had seen many lies in his life, but this didn't feel like one. She leaned closer, her glowing eyes desperate. "I did not come here to trick you, human. I came because no one else would listen. My people call me cursed. They think I bring death. But it is the truth. We are dying, and I cannot stop it alone." Daniel swallowed hard. His instinct screamed at him to be cautious. But another voice deep inside reminded him of all the times humanity had been called weak. All the times they had been underestimated in the galaxy. Maybe this girl was the same. Ignored, abandoned, desperate for one chance. The door creaked open, and a soldier stepped inside, his voice sharp. "Commander Holt wants a report, Daniel. Don't get too comfortable with her." His eyes narrowed on Lyra, filled with disgust. "Aliens don't deserve sympathy. They only bring ruin." Daniel stood, blocking the soldier's view of her. "I'll give the commander his report," he said coldly. "She stays here under my watch." The soldier sneered, but left. Slamming the door behind him, Lyra flinched at the sound. Clutching her blanket tighter, Daniel turned back, his jaw tight. "You're not safe here," he muttered. She nodded weakly. "I know. But I have nowhere else to go." Daniel sat back down, placing the pendant carefully between them. "Then tell me everything, every secret of your people. If I'm to protect you, I need to understand what we're fighting for." Her hands trembled as she touched the pendant. Symbols flickered across its surface, glowing brighter now. "This holds the memory of my ancestors," she said softly. "The cycles, the births, the deaths. It shows the truth no one wants to face." The glow reflected in Daniel's eyes, filling the room with a haunting light. He could almost feel the weight of centuries pressing into his chest, voices whispering through the pendant. Lyra's people fading away. Her voice was steady now, filled with both sorrow and strength. "My species dies without union, human. And I am running out of time." Daniel leaned back, his heart pounding. He had wanted proof, and now he had it. But proof came with a terrible burden. Her survival meant more than just saving one life. She carried the fate of an entire species on her shoulders. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. The storm outside had gone, but inside a new storm was forming. Daniel finally said quietly, "Then the choice I made yesterday was bigger than I ever imagined." Lyra's glowing eyes locked on his, desperate but grateful. "Yes, human. You chose me, and now whether you wanted it or not, you carry the future of my people." Daniel felt the weight of her words sink deep into him. His world had just changed again, and the secrets of her species were only the beginning. The quiet inside the outpost did not last. Word of the alien girl spread beyond the walls, it always did. In a galaxy where trust was thin and secrets never stayed hidden, it was only a matter of time before someone reported her. Daniel knew it when he stepped outside that morning. The soldiers were restless, eyes sharp with suspicion. Whispers followed him wherever he walked. "He's hiding her. It's a trap. She'll get us all killed." Inside the barracks, Lyra sat by the small window, watching the cloudy sky with sad, glowing eyes. Her fingers traced the pendant on her neck, her voice low. "They hate me." Daniel leaned against the wall, arms crossed. "They don't know you," he said flatly. "They only know fear." She turned her gaze to him. "And what do you know, human?" Daniel met her eyes. "I know you're in danger." That's enough for me. Before she could answer, the alarm sirens blared through the outpost. Red lights flashed. Soldiers rushed to their stations. Daniel's stomach tightened. He recognized the sound. Patrols had spotted something outside. Moments later, Commander Holt stormed into the room, his voice hard. "They're here, alien guards, searching the wastelands. They claim one of their own escaped into our territory." His eyes cut toward Lyra. "I wonder who that might be." Lyra's face turned pale. Her breath quickened. Daniel stepped in front of her. "You can't hand her over. You don't know what they'll do to her." Holt's glare was sharp. "It's not my concern what they do. My concern is keeping this outpost alive. If they believe we're hiding her, they'll bring an army. We can't win that fight." Daniel clenched his fists. "So you'll just hand her to them? Like trash?" The commander's voice was cold. "Better one alien girl than all of us, Daniel. Step aside." But Daniel didn't move, his eyes burned with defiance. He knew then that Holt would not protect her. If he wanted to keep her alive, he had to act now, that night. When the outpost fell into uneasy silence, Daniel led Lyra through the shadows, his hand tight on hers, guiding her past the patrols. Her soft breaths trembled in the cold air. "Where are we going?" she whispered. "Away from here," Daniel answered. "If they find you here, Holt will give you up without a fight. I can't let that happen." The gates loomed ahead, tall and locked. A guard paced nearby. Daniel waited for the moment the man turned his back, then slipped through a side passage used for supply runs. His heart pounded as they stepped into the wasteland. The storm clouds above hiding the stars, but they hadn't gone far when Lyra stiffened. Her glowing eyes widened. "They're coming," she whispered. Daniel froze, listening. The faint hum of alien drones buzzed in the distance. Growing louder, he cursed under his breath, pulling her toward the rocky cliffs. "Move!" The chase had begun. They ran through broken ruins. The ground littered with shattered stone and rusted metal. The night air echoed with the whir of drones. Beams of light sweeping across the wasteland. Voices shouted in the alien tongue. Commanding search units, Lyra stumbled, nearly falling. Daniel caught her, pulling her close. Her body was weak, too fragile for the harsh terrain. Her voice cracked. I can't keep up." Daniel's grip tightened. "You don't have to, I'll carry you." Without waiting, he lifted her into his arms, her thin frame weightless against him, her arms wrapped weakly around his neck, her face pressed to his shoulder. The drones swept closer, lights flashing across the rocks. Daniel ducked behind a collapsed wall, his heart pounding. He held his breath as two alien guards passed just meters away. Their tall frames glowed faintly, their weapons humming with deadly power. Lyra's body trembled against him, her voice barely a whisper. "If they catch me, they'll kill me slowly. They'll make an example of me. Please, human, don't let them." Daniel's jaw tightened, his whisper was sharp. "I won't." He waited until the guards passed, then slipped deeper into the ruins. Each step was a gamble, each shadow could hide death. But Daniel moved with the quiet skill of a soldier who had survived too many hunts before. Hours later, they reached an abandoned tunnel carved into the cliffs. Daniel laid her down gently against the stone. Her face was pale, her breathing shallow. He crouched beside her, checking the darkness around them. "We'll rest here for now. Her glowing eyes met his, filled with both fear and trust. "Why?" she whispered. "Why do you risk so much for me? You could have left me at the outpost. You could have let them take me." Daniel was silent for a long moment. His voice was rough when he finally spoke. "Because once, long ago, humans were like you, weak, desperate, begging others to see their worth, and nobody listened, nobody helped. We survived because we refused to die forgotten. I won't watch that happen to you." Tears filled her eyes. But this time they were not only from fear, they were from something else. Hope. Fragile but real. Outside, the drone still searched, their hum echoing across the cliffs. The hunt was far from over, and Daniel knew this was only the beginning. But as he sat beside her in the darkness, rifle across his knees, he also knew one thing for certain. He had chosen his side, and he would not turn back. The pursuit had begun, and he would fight it until the end. The wasteland was still dark when Daniel woke, his back pressed against the cold stone of the tunnel wall. His rifle rested across his lap. Beside him, Lyra slept fitfully, her faint glowing eyes dim like fading embers. Every few minutes her body twitched, as if even her dreams were haunted. Daniel rubbed his tired eyes. He could hear the faint hum of drones still searching in the distance. The aliens were not giving up. They wanted her, and they would keep hunting until they found her. When Lyra stirred awake, her voice was soft. "You didn't sleep." Daniel shook his head. "Couldn't." She sat up weakly, clutching her blanket. "You don't have to do this. You don't owe me anything." His jaw tightened. "Maybe not, but I made a choice. I don't run from my choices." Before she could answer, a sound echoed through the tunnel, the crunch of boots on stone. Daniel's muscles tensed. He motioned for her to stay silent. His rifle rose, ready. A group of alien guards appeared at the far end, tall figures with glowing armor. Their voices hissed in their own language, weapons humming. Daniel's heart pounded. They had found them. Lyra's breath caught in her throat. Her trembling hand gripped Daniel's arm. "They'll take me," she whispered. "They'll tear me apart." Daniel's eyes narrowed. "Not while I'm breathing." He grabbed her hand and pulled her deeper into the tunnels. The guards shouted, chasing them. Their footsteps echoed louder, beams of light cutting through the dark. At the end of the tunnel, they burst out onto a ridge overlooking the wasteland. The rising sun cast long shadows. Below, a squad of alien soldiers waited. Surrounding the exit, Daniel cursed under his breath. They were trapped. Lyra's voice broke. "It's over." But Daniel's face hardened. "No, not yet." He scanned the rocks, his soldier's mind already working. He spotted a narrow path that twisted down the cliffside. "Dangerous but possible," he pointed. "We're going that way." She shook her head in fear. "We'll fall." Daniel's voice was sharp. "Better to fall free than be chained. Move." They scrambled down the path, loose rocks tumbling under their feet. Arrows of light shot past them, plasma bolts from the soldiers above. Daniel shielded Lyra with his body, firing back with quick bursts. His shot struck two guards, sending them crashing to the ground. The squad below closed in. Their leader, a tall alien with silver markings across his face, shouted, "Human, surrender the girl and live. Resist and die with her." Daniel's blood boiled. His voice roared back, "You want her? You'll have to go through me." He set Lyra down behind a boulder, thrusting his spare pistol into her shaking hands. "If anyone comes close, you fire. Don't think, just do it." Her eyes widened. "I've never—" "You will." Daniel cut her off. His tone was steel. Then he stepped into the open, rifle raised. The sun lit his figure against the rocks, one man standing against an army. The aliens laughed, mocking him. One sneered, "You are alone, human. Do you think you can stop us?" Daniel's reply was cold, steady. "I don't need to stop all of you. Just enough to remind you what humans are." He opened fire. His shots cracked across the ridge, precise, merciless. Each pull of the trigger was defiance itself. Aliens stumbled, fell, cursed. They had expected fear. They met fury instead. The leader growled, ordering his soldiers forward. But Daniel moved like a storm, using the rocks for cover, sliding, firing. His earth-born instincts made him unpredictable. He set small traps with grenades, collapsing stone ledges, sending alien troops screaming into the abyss below. Lyra watched from behind the boulder, her chest tight, her glowing eyes wide in awe and terror. This human, who had no reason to fight for her, was defying death itself. But the aliens pressed harder. Their numbers were too great. Slowly, they began to surround him. Daniel's breath came heavy. sweat running down his face. He knew he couldn't hold forever. Still, he shouted, his voice echoing across the cliffs. "You'll never take her. You hear me? She is under my protection." The aliens hesitated. His words carried a power they didn't expect. This was no weak soldier clinging to survival. This was a man ready to burn the world before surrendering. Their leader stepped forward, his silver-marked face twisted in anger. "You cannot protect her forever, human. Your defiance will kill you both." Daniel aimed his rifle straight at him, his voice low and unshaken. "Then I'll die standing, not crawling." Silence hung heavy for a moment. Even the aliens felt the weight of those words. From her cover, Lyra whispered to herself, tears streaming, "He fights for me. He fights for me when no one else ever would." The standoff burned with tension. The aliens closed in step by step. Daniel tightened his grip on the rifle. His heart pounded, his body screamed with exhaustion. But his spirit only grew stronger. This was not just about her anymore. This was about proving that humans could not be broken. The ridge shook as another volley of plasma fire erupted. Stones rained down. Daniel dragged Lyra away just as the ledge collapsed. They tumbled together into the dust below, coughing, bruised but alive. Above them, the aliens regrouped, shouting orders. The chase was not over. It was only getting more dangerous. Daniel pulled Lyra to her feet. His eyes burned with fire. "They want to break me. They think one human can't matter. But they're wrong as long as I'm breathing. I'll fight for you." Her trembling hand squeezed his arm. Her glowing eyes filled with something new, not just fear, but trust. The sun rose higher, casting light over the broken wasteland. And in that light stood a single human, defying an army, holding the fate of a species in his hands. Dust clung to the air as Daniel and Lyra stumbled into the valley below the cliffs. Their bodies ached from the fall, but there was no time to rest. The echo of alien war horns carried across the wasteland. Growing closer with every second, Lyra leaned against a boulder, her chest rising and falling in shallow breaths. Her glowing eyes flickered like dying flames. I can't keep running," she whispered, her voice weak. "My time is almost gone." Daniel crouched beside her, his hand steady on her shoulder. His face was hard, but his voice was gentle. "Then we make our stand here." She looked at him with wide, frightened eyes. "There are too many. You can't fight them all." Daniel's jaw tightened. "Maybe not, but I can make them regret coming after us." He scanned the valley, his soldier's eyes calculating. Ruined walls, broken machines, and collapsed towers surrounded them. A battlefield waiting to be used. He pulled grenades from his belt, set charges along the rocks, and positioned his rifle high on the ridge. Every step he took was precise, every trap carefully placed. Lyra watched him work, confusion mixing with awe. "Why do you fight so hard for me?" she asked softly. "You barely know me." Daniel paused, staring at her for a moment, then he said, "Because you deserve the chance to live. Everyone does. And because sometimes, one life is worth more than 1,000 battles." Her lips trembled. She had been called cursed, weak, unwanted by her own people. Yet here was a human who spoke as if her life mattered more than his own. The ground shook as alien soldiers marched into the valley. Their glowing armor lit the dark. Drones swarmed above. The silver-marked leader raised his weapon and shouted, "Human, this is your last warning. Hand over the girl or die where you stand!" Daniel stepped forward into the open, his rifle steady. His voice cut through the air like a blade. "You want her? You'll have to kill me first." The aliens laughed, their voices filled with cruelty. But when Daniel's traps exploded, rocks collapsing, fire bursting through the valley, the laughter turned into screams. Soldiers fell, drones shattered. The wasteland thundered with chaos. Daniel fought like a man possessed. His rifle barked fire again and again, every shot precise, every move calculated. He struck from cover, vanished, then reappeared where they least expected. His mind raced faster than theirs, using earth tricks they could not predict. Still, the enemy numbers pressed harder. For every soldier that fell, 2 more appeared. Plasma bolts scorched the air, forcing Daniel back step by step. His arm bled from a graze. His lungs burned, but he never stopped. Lyra knelt behind the ruins, clutching the pistol he had given her. Her hands shook, but when an alien soldier rushed toward Daniel's blind side, she screamed and fired. The shot cracked, striking true. The soldier fell, her eyes widened in shock. Her chest heaving, Daniel turned, saw what she had done, and gave her a single sharp nod. "Good," he said before firing another burst. But Lyra's strength was fading. Her body trembled violently. She collapsed to her knees, clutching her chest. "Daniel!" "It's happening," she gasped. "The cycle. I can't hold on much longer." Daniel's heart clenched. He couldn't let her die. Not after all this, not after every step they had taken together. The silver-marked leader strode forward through the smoke, his soldiers fanning out around him. His cruel voice echoed, "You are finished. Human, you fought well, but now you will watch her die. And then you will die too." Daniel wiped blood from his face, his eyes burning with fury. He raised his rifle, his voice low but steady. "If I fall, I'll take you with me," the leader sneered. "You can't stop us all." Daniel's voice sharpened. "Maybe not, but humans don't fight for numbers. We fight for what we choose to protect, and I chose her." The valley grew silent for a breath. Even the aliens hesitated at the weight of his words, then the battle exploded again. Daniel's traps lit up the sky, his rifle roared, and his defiance burned brighter than the sun, but inside, he knew the truth. He couldn't hold them forever. His body screamed with exhaustion. His ammo was running low, behind him. Lyra's glowing eyes dimmed further, her body weak. Her voice was a fragile whisper. "Daniel, don't give up, please. Don't let me die alone." His chest tightened. His grip on the rifle shook, not from fear, but from the weight of his promise. He roared with everything he had left. "You will not die today," and charged into the fire. The final stand had begun. The valley was a graveyard of smoke and broken stone. Bodies of alien soldiers lay scattered, their glowing armor dimmed forever. Daniel stood in the center, his rifle empty, his chest heaving. Every muscle in his body burned. Blood dripped down his arm. But he was still standing. At his back, Lyra lay slumped against a broken wall, her eyes faint, her body trembling with weakness. The last of her strength had nearly slipped away during the fight. Her voice cracked as she whispered, "Daniel, is it over?" Daniel staggered toward her, dropping the rifle. His knees hit the ground beside her, his hand brushed her hair back from her glowing face. His voice was rough. "For now, yes. They're gone. You're safe." Her trembling lips curved into the faintest smile. "Safe. Because of you." Daniel's throat tightened. He wanted to tell her everything would be fine. But he could see the truth. Her cycle was reaching its end. Without help, without life joined, she would not survive. He had seen soldiers fade away like this, and he knew time was short. She clutched the pendant at her chest, pressing it into his hand. Her glowing eyes locked onto his. "This is my people's memory, our history, our pain, our hope. If I die, let it live with you." Daniel shook his head. "No, you're not dying, not after all this. Not after everything we fought for." Tears glistened in her eyes. "You don't understand, Daniel. My body, it is failing. My species cannot survive without sharing life. I begged you because I had no choice, and now I'm at the end." For a moment, Daniel felt the weight of the galaxy pressing down on him. He had carried her through storms, fought armies, defied his own commander, and yet here she was, still on the edge of death. But then he remembered her words, her desperate plea, her courage even in fear, and he realized something. This was not just about survival. It was about choosing to fight for hope when no one else would. He gripped her trembling hands, his voice steady. "Then I'll save you, Lyra. Not because I'm ordered to, not because it's easy, but because I choose to. I won't let your species vanish, not while I'm alive." Her tears spilled. But this time they carried relief. Her lips trembled into a whisper. You mean it?" Daniel nodded firmly. "I mean it. You're not alone anymore. Not ever." In that broken valley under the pale morning sun, a bond was forged, one stronger than blood, stronger than war. It was not just a promise to one girl, but to an entire species. The pendant in Daniel's hand glowed brighter, as if it too understood. A warmth spread between them, a light neither of them could explain. Lyra's breathing steadied. Her dim eyes flickered with renewed glow. She was not healed, not yet. But she was no longer slipping away. Days passed as Daniel built a shelter in the ruins. Keeping watch while she recovered, he hunted for food, found water hidden deep in the rocks each night. She told him stories of her people, the songs they once sang, the cities that now lay silent, the pride that had blinded them until it was too late. And each night he listened, not as a soldier, but as a friend. Weeks later, when human patrols finally found them, Daniel stood tall with Lyra at his side. Holt glared, furious. You disobeyed direct orders. You should be court-martialed. But the other soldiers looked at Daniel with something else in their eyes. Respect. Even Holt could not ignore the truth. Daniel had done what no one else dared. He had faced an army, protected the weak, and survived. Lyra stepped forward, her voice stronger than before. He did not just save me, he saved my people. Without him, my species would be gone. Is that a crime? Or is that what true strength looks like? Silence fell over the outpost. Soldiers who once doubted her lowered their weapons. Holt finally growled, "You're his problem now. Not mine." But even his words rang hollow. From that day forward, Lyra was no longer just a desperate alien girl. She was a survivor, a symbol, and beside her stood the human who had chosen compassion over fear. Years later, stories spread across the stars of the lone soldier who carried an entire species on his shoulders. They said he defied armies, that he fought death itself. But the truth was simpler. He had seen one life worth saving, and he had chosen to save it. In a quiet home far from the battlefield, Lyra stood beside Daniel, her glowing eyes brighter than ever. The cycle of her people had been broken, their future restored. And as she looked at him with warmth in her gaze, she whispered the words that began it all. "Thank you, human." Daniel smiled faintly, his hand resting over hers. "No, Lyra, thank you. For giving me a reason to fight, together." They walked into the new dawn, no longer hunted, no longer alone. A family born of survival, bound not by blood, but by choice, and in the end that was stronger than any chain, stronger than any war, stronger than death itself.